Hey everyone, it's Coach Mo Faul. I'm here with another awesome client interview, and I am here with Laura Summers, a client who actually, Laura, you have a unique sort of non-corporate type of
Yeah,
career, and that is going to be an interesting thing to explore for us here. Can you briefly describe where you were before you came into my program and met me and my team of coaches and where you are now, and then we're going to just dive into how you got there.
absolutely. Yes. I'll just start off with that I am a film director, and a screenwriter. And in 2020, I had the most amazing thing happen to me, which is that I had a feature film that got picked up and released by Netflix. And then right after my film was released, the world shut down because of the
Yes.
pandemic. And it really put me into a tailspin in my life. And I was staying home, taking care of my son while he was doing virtual school. And in 2021, I had come to work with you
Yeah.
because I thought that, my filmmaking career was over. And I honestly came to you because I wanted you to tell me what was going to be my real career.
Right, right, right. Yes.
And
We,
yeah,
we,
thanks to going through the program with you, I am now on set working on a feature film. My first
mhm.
film back since the pandemic, since the Hollywood strikes.
Yes.
And, here we are. It's the beginning of 2024,
Yeah.
and I'm walking the walk and doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so,
that's where
so
I'm at.
super awesome. You know, you're
It
the
is.
second movie industry client we've had in the last couple of years that had sort of a similar trajectory. And then, as you know, my secret sauce is bringing your soul back to life and
Yeah.
soul power. So
Mhm.
how much did that affect, like, just your ability to basically get back on track, that inner self, uh, getting back into your power?
It was everything, honestly. Since we worked together, since I went through the program, I spent the entire 2022 and 2023, working on my inside,
Hmm.
working on leaning into who I really was, leaning
Hmm.
into listening to meditations, listening to, just positive affirmations every day
Hmm.
in my ears when I went
Hmm.
to bed at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was listening to these meditations and these affirmations while I was
Uh-huh.
sleeping at night. And it's incredible how it helped that shift.
Yes.
And then just really exploring like who I was. And there were a lot of like falls and mistakes and wrong directions that I've taken in the last 2 years. You
Hmm.
know, what's so funny that even though I was trying to find different avenues to go down to find paid work, that was not within the filmmaking world,
Hmm.
all of those, wrong directions led me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Because I kept still doing what you talk about, which is leaning into what your soul wants you to do
Yeah.
and embracing that.
Yeah.
And so I kept working on film projects, kept writing things, kept
Yes.
developing projects, even though they weren't going anywhere. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
And interestingly enough, like at the beginning of this year, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do about finding a job, and I'm just going to lean hard into being a filmmaker
Hmm.
and just make it happen this year. And
Hmm.
because I made that decision, I am now in Kansas City, like my projects all started going. I'm now in Kansas City prepping for a feature film that I had been trying to get going for the last 2 years. I wrote a short film that I recently crowdfunded in March. We're going to be shooting that in June. There was another feature that I wrote that is going to be produced by a successful producing team and director and starring a well-known actor. That's going to be happening in the fall. Yeah, like it's just all it's a miracle. I
Yeah.
had a podcast that I wrote that I was developing throughout the year last year that just got released on Apple iTunes podcasts and Spotify, and it made it all the way to number 5.
Whoa. All right.
Online, yeah. So it's just like so
Yeah.
beautiful. And the interesting thing is that because I did so much work on myself
Yes.
inside
Yes.
and worked through things like what you talk about, like with job trauma, and just finding out who I am, letting go of things that weren't good for me, changing my mindset about what I deserved
Yes.
and what I was capable of doing.
Yes.
Now I'm ready I'm ready to
Yeah.
step into what you talk about, stepping into your power.
Yes.
And, I'm living the flow and being who I'm supposed to be. And
Yeah.
it's amazing and I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it on, I'm taking the challenges and the punches, and I feel perfect and I feel alive. So
It sounds like you're the best version of you.
yeah.
And when you reflect back again to sort of like the pandemic hit everyone with a punch in the face. Some
It
industries
did.
took a longer time to come back. But with
Yeah.
that being said, what you're talking about is you weren't in your power. You took sort of the, perhaps even before the pandemic, some of the assaults. When you look back, the inner version of Laura before, did she really think that this was possible, that she was capable of this?
It's funny. I felt like I always believed in myself, but I didn't know if I believed that other people could believe in me. And
Aha.
so I didn't put myself out there to other people and say like, "Hey, I'm here. I exist."
Yeah.
And I would like an opportunity. And it wasn't until I started. It's funny. I read that book that you always talk about. Oh gosh, I wish I had written it down before we started talking, but it's the classic like making money in business. It's
Think and
Think
Grow
and
Rich.
Grow Rich.
Think and Grow
We
Rich. Yeah.
recommended it. I had always heard of it my whole life, and I read it. And what I was really moved by was how, they talk about that you're supposed to be someone who can offer things,
Right.
and you create stuff and you offer it to the world,
Yes.
and then the world wants it,
Yeah. Yes.
and I was stopping myself from offering myself to the world. Um, and once I started just making things and really leaning into that, I think like that changed everything for
Yeah.
me.
And as a woman, and again, you were in the workshop for 12 weeks, you're hearing other women doing their thing. I'm sure you heard them talking about and getting coached on things that were exactly what was going on with you, even though they were in different industries. But as a
Yeah,
woman, we're not really raised to feel confident about what we put out in the world. We're looking for that external validation. That is mostly how women are raised and conditioned through our lives. And
definitely.
this creates obstacles that we can't even see. So you read Think and Grow Rich. You go through the program where I help you articulate your achievements, articulate what you bring to the table. How much easier is that for you to articulate the value that you bring to the table based on the practice and the work that we did together?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot easier to to do it, because it's, like one of the things that we did was we created a pitch,
Yep.
pitching ourselves.
Yep.
And just doing all of that homework and writing through all of it. And it's just so funny because you write it all down and then you see for yourself that you actually have it already inside of you. And you just need to be able to have something to pitch yourself to tell people.
Yeah.
And it's just a revelation when you see all of the work that you've written down and what you're actually capable of. It's amazing.
Yeah. And how easy it was to sort of ignore your achievements, your expertise, your experience. And I don't know, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, why don't I feel great? Why is this not working out for me? Why is this such a problem? What was one of the most surprising things that you learned in the 12 weeks while we were working together that helped you?
Interestingly enough, it was surprising. I wrote these things down, so I'm just going to look at it because, I really wanted to. One of the most interesting things that I learned about was you talked a lot about job trauma, and how it's not necessarily your fault, right?
That's right.
Because we're conditioned to take on everything. We're conditioned we need external validation from others in order to validate ourselves, to find our value. And if you're in jobs where you're working with people who are toxic and dysfunctional, and we're taking that in as something that's for ourselves, it was really a revelation for me because I didn't think about it. I had blamed myself for every job that had ever gone wrong.
That's
and
right.
like digging in and seeing that, no, it was not me, was a real revelation, but it took a long time to work through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To let that go. I mean, I was when I first started working with you guys, I was working a couple of part-time jobs to try to just keep, juggling my life and keep some kind of money coming in. But one of those jobs was really toxic, and it, through working with you and the, kick-ass team, I was able to eventually let that toxic job go. But hold on, but see the other jobs, because I had 3 part-time jobs, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I was writing, I was, a program managing, and I was coaching, crowdfunding people. So, I was able to see the 2 jobs that they were good, and that those people wanted me to lean in and empower me, right? And I was able to see that the other job was incredibly toxic, and they did not want me to succeed. They wanted to keep pushing me down. And so I was, thanks to the coaching, I was able to let that job go eventually. And again, not blame myself and make it about me. That it was about them.
Isn't it amazing how when you begin to feel better about who you are, these types of decisions are obvious?
Yeah.
When you don't feel good about yourself, you'll stay in a toxic environment. You'll stay trying harder to make it right. You'll stay overworking to make something right that can't possibly get right.
Yeah.
And feeling good about yourself, you're able to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to stay in this environment.
Yeah. But one thing you said, I just want to say, one thing
Sure.
that you told us was to not let you always were saying that you always say that I really hold on to is that even if you're in a toxic environment, if you're working and earning money, don't quit that job, until you're in a place, but work on getting out, but keep the job. You need to keep money coming in. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to throw that out there. I hold on to that in my heart, and that gave me strength. You know what I mean?
And the reason why I say don't quit is because that causes our soul to feel defeated. And it's also not really practically a great idea Like if you
Yeah,
have
I was
$1
going with the
million
practice.
in the bank, maybe it's okay. You
Yeah.
have the financial safety net. Most people don't have that. So being able to navigate something that's challenging, not take it personally, and create the life and the career that you want at the same time is a preferred way from my coaching perspective. As you probably know, and I don't know if this was true when you were in the workshop with us, plenty of women come to us after having quit desperately a toxic situation that they couldn't get out of, unwind. It was too depleting for them to work on the new thing while they were in that. So, but yeah, I don't quit your job as the solution. Learn to navigate and grow yourself and then create the strategy. With all that being said, Laura, what level of commitment did you find that you needed to bring to the table to do the work, to be successful? What was required from you along the journey? And how did you manage all of that?
Well, are you talking about like for the program itself or
Yeah.
just for getting to this
Yeah.
place?
For the
Or all
program
of it?
itself, and then we can kind
Yeah.
of talk about what you already mentioned, how much you've continued to do the work. But in that
Yeah.
12 weeks, what was necessary for you to gain the momentum that you gained in those 12 weeks?
It was just working at it every day, and making sure that I had set a schedule aside, like I schedule my time even now. I have like a whole calendar for the week, and each day of the week has an hour, and I write down in each hour what I'm going to do. So, I was committing to at least an hour a day of doing the work. It really ended up being more because of all the meditations that I was
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
to,
yeah,
affirmations and
yeah.
doing the 10-10-10s and
Uh-huh.
all of that stuff. You have in your packet, you have that list of the things that you have to do every day. You got to drink your water, you got to get your green juice in,
Yeah,
all of that stuff. And like
yeah,
I was like, check, I would
yeah,
have those printed out every
yeah.
day in my kitchen. And
Uh-huh.
I would, every day do those things and check up all the boxes to make
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah,
And yeah, water is like everything.
yeah. I mean, look, when you're taking care of yourself and your soul, you are moving into a higher vibrational self. You are moving into
Yeah.
a higher vibrational, I call it neighborhood, in the field of life. Like we're all playing on this big playing field. It's a vibrational playing field. And when you're taking care of yourself, when you're doing good for you, not only you're taking everyone you love up there with you, but you're now a resident at a different part of life.
Yeah.
And that's how opportunities get attracted. That's how you're able to more easily talk about your experience and expertise and the value that you bring to the table. So that,
Yeah.
as you know now, all of those things stack up to a fantastic outcome that is better than you imagined because you have created that vibrational self, that possibility. You're taking care of yourself. You're no longer undervaluing or thinking that you have to suffer at someone else's toxic hand in order to, get through things. How have other people commented or seen the different version of Laura?
Well, I'll tell you. One funny thing is that, since I've been working on this project here in Kansas City, this film, my best friend, who I've known since we were 2 years old, she called me the other day. We were FaceTiming, and she said, "You look like you've, lost 10 years, or you look like you've gained 10 years. No, you look 10 years younger." That's
Yeah,
what she said.
yeah,
You look 10 years younger.
yeah,
And I said, because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in
yeah,
life,
yeah,
and I'm in my flow,
yeah.
and I feel incredible. Like
Hmm.
I have so much joy every day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's amazing.
yeah.
And I will say, like life is a roller coaster, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And, like I'm living the high right now. I don't know what's going to happen next month. I don't know what's going to happen next year, but I'm going to enjoy this ride, and I'm going to remember and hold on to the positivity every day. And now, my practice of gratitude has become about every morning giving gratitude to like how wonderful things are going in life and wishing for prosperity and goodness for every other people in my life now too.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
feel like, but I had to give 2 years of that gratitude and prosperity work just to myself to get to the point where I could then go back and start giving it to other people, you know?
Yeah, it's a
And when I
lifestyle.
did that,
There was a woman who came into the workshop a little while ago, and she was saving up for a facelift,
uh-huh.
and her career wasn't going well. So she decided to use her facelift funds to come into the workshop. And she said the same thing that you said, and I've said this to so many clients as they're graduating from the 12 weeks. You look so much younger. It's going to take 10 years off of your face because you now are glowing from the inside versus having this deep pit of despair inside.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what a huge shift.
Big
Con-
time. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
I was in total
considering
despair.
the progress that you've made, what do you now know is possible for you, or where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months?
Um, well, I see myself working on another project, more, which is bigger, like bigger, more responsibility, bigger project, bigger vision. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
I really do think it's possible.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I'm
Yeah.
going to be standing up on the stage at some major film festival a year from now, like premiering this film that I'm working on right now. And
Yes.
I'm going to be out there with an audience who is going to be
Yeah.
vibing with like my mission for this film,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be changing lives. And I cannot wait for that day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're living the vibration right now, and that's the guarantee, isn't it? That we can be consistent and congruent with the vibration of the life that we want.
Yeah.
I see nothing but great stuff ahead because of the progress you've made. And I have the advantage over anyone else who's watching this interview of knowing who you were
Oh,
before
yeah.
we started working together, and how difficult it was for you to really believe in yourself, even though you were trying so hard.
Yeah.
And again, not your fault. It's what happens with a lot of women's careers, and throw the pandemic in there the last several years with that has really
Yeah.
derailed a lot of women. What would
Oh,
you
yeah.
say to yourself, Laura, the past self? What would you say to her, or a woman in your shoes
Yeah.
where you came into the workshop? What advice would you give her right now?
Yeah, I wrote this down actually because I
Okay.
want to make sure that, like, I would know. But I wrote, hang in there. That hard times won't last forever. That you will turn a corner in your life, but it might not be on your timeline that you want. But that you will make it through. You will get out. You will turn a corner.
Yeah. Yeah. If someone's unsure about diving into coaching or diving into, let's face it, investing in themselves, both with time and money,
Yeah.
what would you say to them to give them some reassurance about that investment in their lives, in their careers?
I just think that, like, if if you want to keep going in the same direction that you've been going, then don't invest. You know what I mean? But like, it's like, we invest in our children. We buy you know what I mean? Like, we invest in our communities. We invest in our jobs, and we need to invest in ourselves, because like, if you can't get yourself cleaned up, if you can't clean up your own room,
Yeah.
then how are you going to be able to make the world a better place, and you know what I mean, like, and do all the things that you want to accomplish?
Let's,
It's really worth it.
yeah. Let's talk about the difference, the enhanced life that your son now has, the difference he has now in his life because of who you've become. Talk a little bit about the mom you are now.
Yeah, it's funny because that's kind of where the journey started and I want you to go look at my LinkedIn when we're done talking,
Okay.
because one time we had a coaching session, and you love to draw pictures, right? Of like, and you drew this picture, and you didn't mean to do it, but we laughed about it, and you drew a smiley face, and you said, "This is you," and then did a scribble around, right? And then you accidentally erased the scribble. So there was just a smiley face and blank whiteness around the smiley face. And we laughed because the joke was that it's expanding forever, right? And you
Yeah.
have to keep expanding forever. So I made
Yeah.
that my LinkedIn like header so that I'll always remember that I can be constantly expanding, right?
Yes. Yes.
So please go check it out. It'll
I will.
be tickled when you see it.
Yeah.
So I started the expansion when I started volunteering at my son's school. And I was like, I don't have a job, so I can't like show who I am at a job, right? But I can volunteer at my son's school and I can start doing that expansion of self and stepping into my soul and myself and leadership and everything that I want to be as a person,
Yes.
volunteering at my
Yeah.
son's school. And
Yeah.
so, like I chaired the fundraising committee and I raised for 2 years the most money that the school had ever raised in the history of the school. You know what I mean? Like I just kept like growing and volunteering and giving and not just making my own son's life better, but like making lives better for the teachers and the staff and the children, other children and the other families there, and so it improved my son's life because I was getting myself involved in his world and he
Yeah.
was seeing me happy and expanding and being part of a community, our small
Yeah.
community, right?
Yeah.
Now he sees me, mama's working and mama's making a movie, doing something that maybe most people would think would be impossible, but that mom's had a dream and mom's living her dream. And, he's going to get to see
Yeah.
that, when he's ready to have his dreams,
Yeah.
he will make them come true,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, I feel like how it affects him.
Yes, definitely. You're
Yeah.
you're totally setting a tone of success, possibility, um, human expansion. You're also, and I'm sure of this based on who you have become, you're also probably day by day in the smaller moments being more uplifting,
Yeah.
being more supportive. And again, I know all mothers think that they are and whatever, but when you're depleted, when you're not feeling good about yourself, you are
Yeah.
telegraphing that to your kids, whether you think you're hiding it or not, you're telegraphing it. And I
Yep.
know when I was going through tough patches in my career, I was not a happy person at home for the kids.
Yeah.
And so when you're happy inside, you're giving him that daily dose.
Yeah. Of patience, of love, of joy, of, patience. One more time. I'll say that one more time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's
absolutely.
necessary as a mom. And if you're depleted, stressed out, having job trauma, there's no patience in you
No.
because
You
you're
got
not.
a sad mom, a crying mom, a mom
Yeah,
who talks about negative things,
right.
of hopelessness and despair, you know,
Yeah.
not a
Sometimes
mom who's saying like, here's a
yeah, go-
problem, how can we fix it? How
yes,
can we,
exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I
So
think that's
many
the,
people are raised by, conversation in the home about work, about careers, about bosses, that give such negative experiences. And I know that every single woman who we've worked with, and it's been over 2,000 at this point, they're bringing a better version, whether they have kids or not have kids, they're bringing a better version home.
yeah,
And that affects everything. And the version you are, how about this? The version of you who's on the movie set, at the work that you're doing, you're not some raging bitch directing and calling people. You're a light of possibility and let's do it this way and cooperation and collaboration. I mean, everywhere you go,
yep,
there's your soul powered you.
yes, yeah, because I'm, not afraid. I don't have to be mean or whatever,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
driving
Yeah.
to be a leader, to get what I want,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So good. So good.
Yeah, it
Uh,
feels great. And it
being
makes everybody else happy around, you know?
exactly,
People
exactly.
they like coming to work every day. They feel creative. They feel ownership. They feel a greater mission and purpose
Yeah,
for their job and for,
hmm,
the film as a whole.
yeah, yeah. What are some final thoughts that you would like to share with those who might be considering working with my team and I, or for those women who think that it's not possible to be happy in life, or it's not possible to be happy in their careers? What thoughts would you like to share with them?
Oh, let me think about that. I just, I think just final thoughts is that, you are valuable and you need to just, you need to take the time to find that in yourself. And,
Mm.
you know, I, I, I don't, it's funny, Mo, I don't know, final thought. I mean, yeah, just, that you're valuable and you're worth it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, you're worth the investment of the time
Mm-hmm.
and, um, and the effort. And, it's going to pay off.
Yeah,
Just do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you'll feel so great. There's like where you're at right now, if you're in a negative headspace, it's there are so many worlds out there and so many possibilities out there.
Mm.
So many
Mm.
endings to your story. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's a good one coming from a filmmaker. That's
It is.
fantastic, right?
Yeah,
There
there's
are.
so many endings.
Yes,
So
there
how are you
are.
going to write your story?
Yes, that is so
And
true.
yeah,
Make the ending that you want.
I love that.
Because really, I mean, you're specifically a filmmaker, but isn't everyone really the writer, producer, creator, director, actor, whatever, of their lives? And the script that
Yes,
they're playing to is what their beliefs are about themselves. Oh, this is not
absolutely.
possible. Oh, this is possible. Oh, I can do this. Oh, look what I bring to the table. Oh, look at the value I have. Versus, I don't know, I'm beaten down. No one believes in me. So, yeah, you write the script.
Yeah, make yourself the hero of your own story and believe in
Woo.
yourself. And hero's journey is all about overcoming obstacles
Mm-hmm.
and how it's the hero's journey is about wanting to meet a goal, right? They want something more than anything else in the world. And it's about how they overcome the obstacles to get to that thing that they want more than anything in the world. And a movie is not good if the hero just automatically arrives to what they want.
Mm-hmm.
What's so great is that we get to see how the hero runs into one obstacle after another and they find a way around that obstacle. It's like I always say, like if you have a door that's shut in front of you, and I was really good at this about when it came to making movies, right? But not good at it in the rest of my life, but it was like if you had a door shut in front of you or shuts in your face, then find another door
Mm-hmm.
to kick down and go through. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? There will always be another door to find your answer to get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the hero's journey. So
Yeah.
live that,
Yeah. Live your own hero's journey. I have really enjoyed revisiting with you. I'm excited about the project you're on. I'm excited about the project that you crowdfunded and being a part of that and helping you
Yes, thank you so much.
tell another story, tell another heroine's story, and
Yeah.
how she came to her truth. It always makes us stronger and better to have pursued the journey, doesn't it? And as a filmmaker,
Yes.
that's the stories that you tell because it resonates as humans. When we go through the obstacles, we are stronger and better versions of ourselves. And
We
all the
are.
people around you are winning right now because you made that investment.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Good.
So good, so good. Laura, high fives, high 10 with what you've created for yourself and the soul power that you have ignited that is really making your life be what you want it to be. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mo. I love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, folks, this is a real life story. This is real life love here. We do change lives because we care about women's soul power and creating a better life and a better world for everyone. So if you'd like to know how Laura did her thing, click the link below and talk to us about what's going on in your career and see if we can help you out. Thank you again, Laura Summers, and all the
Thank
best to
you.
all of your work and your life.
Thank you.
Yeah.